Hey viewers, my name's Cara. This video is a little bit of t-shirt reconstruction, as you can see, but also an opportunity to use my new editing software and let you all know that I have editing software again and I can edit videos again, so I can do stuff like this and put picture in picture. I'm also using a different type of microphone, so I know it might sound a little bit echoey. This room is kind of echoey. We don't have any kind of like sound dampening or acoustic type stuff, but yeah, just an opportunity to get to utilize some of the editing software, give you another video that's not book related, because the next video coming up is book related. But here I have for you two t-shirts that we are going to revamp just a little bit today, just some slight adjustments, and those adjustments are going to be based on these two other tank tops that I received from my mother. They are thrifted tank tops that were then handed on to me from her. So there's that. Let's go ahead and start with this one. The t-shirt we're going to be using that is mine, that I've had for a long time, is my Born This Way t-shirt. It's from fuckhate.com, which was a very popular thing that a lot of us on YouTube were buying t-shirts from and supporting years ago. Of course, Born This Way being a Lady Gaga song reference. We're going to be using this tank top I got from my mom, which says love on it. And the thing about this, I'm not actually going to be turning these two t-shirts into tank tops like the tank tops that we're using. We're not making them exactly the same. But what we're going to replicate from this one is just this very simple, fun design on the back. I have already previously cut out the neckband, black on black. I really wasn't planning on specifically using black t-shirts. They're really hard actually to see, but these just happen to be the t-shirts that I know what I want to do with. Wow, you can't see that at all. Let me see if I can get another light just on this. There, that sort of helps. So I don't have any chalk or anything either, so you're not going to see any white lines. Basically what we're going to do is on this t-shirt, or on this tank top rather, it's just like 2 inches wide. So what we're going to do, this is actually pieces that have been sewn in here like this, not simply slits cut into it and then stretched apart, which is one thing we can do. And we're going to do that first and then see how that looks, and then decide if we're going to do the next step, which will make it look more like the tank top, which is actually to cut out every other one so we end up with open rectangles. So I'm just going to go down the center. We can actually fold this in half. Lots of t-shirts are not perfectly centered in half, because I don't know if you can see that, but the seam is overlapped here on this side and it's on the front on that side, and that's something that happens all the time, so we can't use the bottom seams to line it up. We're just going to have to use this crease from where I've folded the shirt in half before. Use that. And then I don't really care if my lines aren't perfectly straight. Of course, if you're going to do it like this and cut, you want it to be like perfectly perpendicular in order to make straight lines. But I don't really care so much about that, so we're just going to do snips like that. About like maybe 1/4 of an inch apart and about 1 inch deep, so that when we unfold it, it's like 2 inches. Right? I'm not that particular. I'm not that specific. I'm not measuring things. You definitely can if you want to. It's also just been a long time since I've done a t-shirt recon video. It's definitely not the last time I've done a t-shirt recon, or you know what I mean. It hasn't been that long since I've done a t-shirt recon. I've done mostly just minor things like cutting out the neck bands on t-shirts, because I really do not like a tight collar. I like them loose and drapey like this. I do feel like I'm getting slightly wider as I go, but that's okay. And then I usually like to leave the waistband as its own thing, so if I get real close, sometimes I just split the difference there to make sure that the bottom gets to be its own thing. So now we have this, a nice just row of slashes down the center there. This will already give you a little bit more airflow, but then also, of course, you can stretch them apart a little bit like this. Pull it a little bit so they stretch. Let's take a look at what this looks like right now. This is what this looks like right now in the front. This is the scoop neckline that I cut into it previously because I don't like it all the way up here, so I like that. I'm happy with that. It's a pretty fitted t-shirt right now. So this is what the back looks like right now. That's what we have right now. It's a little hard for me to see just by myself, so I had to step into the bathroom to sort of look in the mirrors. But I think I like it just like this, the way it is. So I'm not gonna go on to do the potential next step, but if you want to do what would be the next step, it would be to go in and cut out every other slit so that you get more open rectangle boxes like this. So it's even more sort of pronounced. And that's also why it's good if you start with your slashes really small. So if I wanted to, you take out like this one, leave that one, take out this one. So, you know, cut out every other one and it would make them even bigger. But I like the sizes. I like the size of these as it is. So let's just move on to the other one. I'll keep this shirt on for now. The other thing we're doing is based on this tank top, which is pretty cute and also very like flowy. This is very much my mom's style and I like it too. So I've worn this once or twice with like a pair of leggings that match. I love this lace detail. This is definitely something you can do if you have lace or another material that you want to sew on. However, I'm not doing that today. I do not feel like sewing. We are going to do something similar with making the front of this next t-shirt a little different than it is, but we are mostly doing this, which, oh gosh, this tank top has my hair all over it, go figure. This, which is actually on the back, this is a very popular style right now of things that people do on the front of their shirt. Like you keep the collar in place and cut a scoop from there, and it creates kind of like a false choker look to it. I prefer just wearing a choker and having a scoop neck, but this tank top has it on the back. So I want to do that with this next t-shirt that I love. I don't wear it super often because it's seasonal, although I wear Halloween things all the time, so it doesn't really matter, but this t-shirt is a Grumpy Bear, Halloween, just gimme the candy. I love him. So I don't wear this super often because it is just like a tight-fitting t-shirt and I hadn't done anything to it yet. So the collar is still intact. So we're gonna go ahead and do this scoop behind the back part of the collar to make a little opening on the back, sort of in the shoulder blade area. And then I want to do a little bit of cutting slashes in the front, up in these corners. So it'll be like here, kind of across, sort of like a yoke design, not lace, but slashes. So something similar. So we're just being inspired by this other piece here. First thing we're gonna do is decide how low the scoop is gonna be. So this one, this collar I just cut out literally around the collar itself. I might have gone down a little further in the front, but in the back it's just underneath where the collar was itself. So sort of like midway down the sleeve. So right here from middle of the sleeve to middle of the sleeve, across here. So maybe this is as far down as we want to go. I just eyeball everything. Please forgive me. This is not a good like technical tutorial. That's not what we're doing here. This is me doing things to my t-shirts and you're here to watch. That's it. I will leave the technical tutorials up to the people who are really good at that. So one thing we can do, since we're going to be cutting out this whole area, is we could cut a straight line straight down to how far we want it to go as a guideline. let's just go ahead and do that so you can see. I do not trust myself to cut arches and circles perfectly by folding it in half, so I'm not gonna do that. All right, I'm actually gonna do it, yeah, just to there for now. It's always better to be a little bit reserved with things like this because you can always cut further, but it's difficult to put things back. Especially if it's just like little slivers. You cut just a little too far. How are you gonna put that back on? So yeah, we're gonna go down to that point. We're gonna start from, where are we gonna start from? How does this do it? Okay, this does not start all the way up at the edges. This starts a couple inches in and just does kind of a low scoop. So let's go ahead and figure that out. So we've got a couple inches in on the collar. Yeah, this is like really steep. You could do it all the way from the shoulders if you wanted, but all right, and we're just gonna kind of go straight down to start with. So I'm just gonna make my slits to begin. And this is really hard to see. I want to see if I can get like a spare piece of cardboard that I have lying around to put underneath so we can see. This is why it's so nice to be able to edit again, because I can leave the room and come back and just leave everything recording and figure it out later, edit it later. So much less pressure to do it right the first time. I've missed you, editing capabilities. So now we've got a white piece of cardboard so we can see. Look at that. First of all, that looks pretty cool in and of itself. I know people who will just do like slashes like that, which is actually what we're going to do to the front of the shirt. But this is just our guideline for making our scoop. So we want to do a gentle curve to reach there. Yeah. And actually, if you want even more guidance for how gentle to make the curve, we can find another slit here, find a point that we want to reach to. Not exactly middle with the other one. There we go. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is use this, gently slope to this one here. Boom. And then more of a turn there. Of course, I put the light on my right-hand side, so I'm creating shadows. I apologize. Got our other guidance slits here. Okay, that's where I'm going. Nice gentle curve. Boom. And then up to there. Boom. That is not a horrible curve. It might not be exactly right, but I don't care. And of course, we've got the Care Bears branding printed on tag on the inside that's going to get cut off. So now we just have to cut this off under the collar, or you could leave some fringes there if you want, if that's the kind of thing you're going for. It's not what I'm going for, but that's okay. You can do whatever you want. You can save these scraps to do something else if you want. They're really good for like if you're gonna do something that requires like a tie, like if you were gonna make a tank top, you can stretch these out and use them to tie the fabric and like bunch it, something like that. So small strips like this are good for that sort of thing, or for stuffing other things. If you sew like little pillows or little like stuffed toys or something like that, it's good stuffing. So there we have our back of our shirt. Flipping this around now to the front of our shirt. Basically, I want to do some slashes, just straight vertical slashes all across the front, but I want it to stop at a certain point so that it doesn't go into the design. I'm not going to cut into the design. So I could just go straight across, middle of the sleeve area again, across to here. But then don't include Grumpy's beautiful head and face. Handy dandy notebook. Something kind of like this, like straight across, but not into his head. Slashes. So I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna start one here, up by the shoulder. I'm just gonna go down to like there. middle of the sleeve-ish area. The more I look at this, the more I realize the lighting is going to be absolutely horrible for you, and I really wish I had shirts that I wanted to do anything to right now that are not black, because any other color would have helped. And I have t-shirts of other colors, but I hadn't decided what I wanted to do to them yet. So this is what we have. Now that we're over the white part, at least you can see a little bit more what we're doing. Looking good so far. Also, I literally just realized that I didn't take before pictures of these two t-shirts, but they were just plain t-shirts. So it's not exactly even, but on the other side I had to cut really close to the arm, so I'm going to do one more close to the arm, even though it's a little bit different than the other side. That's okay. So now we have a slashed up front yoke, pretty much right across, and a little scoop back. So it's time to see what this looks like. So we've got our fun scoop back, inspired by the tank top. And then super fun new design in the front. I really like the way this looks. I've seen people do this. It's actually also similar to one of the designs in Megan Nicolai's second Generation T t-shirt reconstruction book. But in hers, she does it like perpendicular to the edge of the collar. So it kind of goes like this, like sun rays or like flower petals coming out from your collar. This is just all vertical, and I've seen people do this and it looks really cool, so you know, I was hoping, but I think it does look really cool. Grumpy Bear like is already edgy and fun, so I think this just makes Grumpy's t-shirt even more fun and perhaps likely to get worn a little more often. So yeah, there's that. Again, inspired by this super fun, light, wonderful. Actually, this perfectly matches the leggings that I'm wearing today. Although these are not the leggings I usually wear with it. I have other ones that have butterflies that are this color, but I love this kind of color right now. So this one is very fun and light and wonderful, and I love the design and the collar and everything. So yeah, may as well also have a dark Halloween look with the same kind of feel. And then once again, this one, Love, which helped inspire a new little design for my Born This Way t-shirt, which admittedly doesn't look quite as cool off, but when it's on, I think is really effective. Or, as I said before, if you want to do that extra step and cut out every other one, you would just snip at each side and remove every other one to get those bigger boxy openings. Whatever you want, it's up to you. Thanks so much for watching. Thank you to my mom for handing down those 2 tank tops that I love that inspired this. I'm always up for secondhand, thrifted, clothing swap type options. And of course, super happy to have my editing capabilities back. Be on the lookout for the next video, which is also utilizing some editing capabilities and is another book review video for you. Hopefully the ExoFlow menstrual cup video previous to this one and then this one will give those of you who were kind of tired of the books a little break, and then those of you who love books as much as I do and love to read as much as I do, there's another one coming up for you. As always, there are links in the description if you want to find out more ways that you can support. Until next time, thanks so much for watching and or listening to this video. Don't forget to be awesome, blessed be, and goodbye.